there's been a lot of talk about the resale aspect of Sony PlayStation software terms usage or usage terms, whatever you want to call it. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big advocate of having your own games, do whatever you want to, especially when it comes to physical copies. But I think there's some misunderstanding here because what you think it is or what people think it is absolutely is it's not enforceable. It's just not. They just can't do it. So I don't know how would they do this because there's a lot of gaming, stores, retro gaming stores that actually have PS3 and PS4 games, and in some cases PS5 games that they're reselling right now and don't really care about what 7.1 in this terms or this usage terms is saying. So I'm going to read it and let you know what it says. It says 7.1, you must not resell either disc-based games or digital games unless expressly authorized by us and if the publisher is another company, additionally by the publisher. That's a lot of, the last part of that is a bunch of jumbo garbage, honest, in my opinion. But basically what they're saying is you can't resell games unless it's, authorized. Well, they're not about to go around to all these retro gaming stores or all these other stores or just the individual that wants to sell their games. It's just not going to be, enforceable. I mean, they're not going to come around as the Sony police come around and try to tell you what you can and can't do with your stuff. Now, I know it's been a really big deal about this early in the PS4 life cycle. They made a big thing about it, but you got to understand that this was actually in their terms of service prior to that. I think the wording is a little bit different, but it's been like this since like 2013. And they made a big deal about it with Xbox was trying to stop people from doing this. And they made their own, what you want to call it. They made their own commercial about selling games. Like, here's how to share games. Now, that was funny. And it was a big death blow to the Xbox One. But that's the sharing side. The selling side is different. I mean, yeah, you get it, selling, sharing. Yeah, because Xbox at one point, and I think PlayStation had it like this as well, that you couldn't use another disc on another console at one point. It was something of that line. It was pretty bad on how they had it to where you were not able to use your own disc on other consoles. Like, it had to like the match up with the console or something like that. But the reselling part, I get it. It's just not enforceable, even regardless, even if they want to try to enforce this. I mean, I got a lot of games right here. I can sell them right now, and there's nothing that they can do about it. I mean, people do it every day. They got conventions. They have all these other type of entities and get-togethers where people come around to buy these games, and Sony's not about to go and break up the retro gaming expo because somebody's selling PS3 games. It's just not going to happen. Now, I will finish this video by saying this. Be very wary of these games, disc-based or digital games from the Xbox 360, PS3 era on up. Be wary of those games because you never know. They may even implement something, and I hope this don't happen, and I'm really not trying to jinx anything. That it could be a time where they can try their best to shut down your console so you can't use any of these games anymore, especially the PS4 era on up, because you got to understand, the PS4, Xbox One era up until now, they don't read the disc. They just look at a license or they just download the files off of the disc and play it on the console via like a download. You just have the disc to copy the contents off the disc onto the console. So I'm not saying that will happen. I hope it never happens, but that could be an instance that it could happen. So you just have to be careful with games that was from the PS4, Xbox One era up until now. Even the PS3 era, Xbox 360 era has, patches, but nowadays you can go on the internet to find a patch if you know what you're doing with your console from that era. Before I get out here, I would just say this. I love the 6th generation on back. Those games are still quality. Some of them age very well. Even if they don't age very well, you can have fun with those games and you're playing the game off the disc. There's not many patches. I don't think that I think the first few patches that I remember was like from the original Xbox era, maybe PS2. But even then, you know, you had the complete game for the most part, flaws and all. And sometimes the flaws made the games, you know, it made the game identity. So it was pretty cool to have certain games the way they were. I mean, some of them were broken. I mean, I will say that. But most of those games are like revised in another copy or whatever the case may be. And it is what it is. But then nowadays, these companies rely on that stuff. But like I said, that's a whole nother story I don't want to get into. But I will say this. Be wary of these games nowadays. Like one day, you know, you could be playing them, next day it could be a problem. And that's just something I just can't deal with. I really don't want to deal with it. In the back of my mind, I just play the game, especially from, you know, the 7th generation on, PS3 on. And the games are fun, but this type of stuff really irks my nerves because these type of things should not be happening with these games. They should give us the option to continue to play these games, let us sell them, do whatever the case may be with the games that we purchase, especially if they're physical. Digital, I feel the same way, but I do in some cases understand why digital games are kind of weird, because not the purchasing side, it's just the delisting stuff that really bothers me for the most part. If you bought a digital game, you should be able to keep it no matter what. You know, I mean, the crew, if you're dealing with the crew right now, that's a physical game, but that's about to go offline, which that is a whole nother issue as well. But I can go all over the place with this, but hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. This is a really, really jacked up situation, but it's not enforceable. It's not. They're not going to be able to do anything with it. So it is what it is. Don't get too discouraged or thinking that, you know, Sony is the bad guy, because they've done a lot of dumb stuff. This is one of them that they got, but the dumb side of it is if they actually tried to enforce it. They won't be able to enforce that. So it's cool. We got other bigger fish to fry when it comes to the world of gaming and ownership. So I'm going to get out of here. Y'all take it easy. See you on the next one. Peace.